Thank you for listening to REED-BBS.
REED-BBS. Let's get into a little El Monstruo, David Benavidez, El Bandera Roja versus Oleksander Gvozdyk. This is slated for June on the undercard of Tank Davis, Gervonta Tank Davis, Abdul Wahid, Paula Abdul Wahid, the undercard of his bout versus Frank Martin, slated for June. This will be for the interim WBC light heavyweight title. Of course, within that same month, we're supposed to have the unification of the light heavyweight titles between Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol. But you can't speak, it's to the point now, you can't speak of Benavidez without referencing Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is blatantly ducking Benavidez to the point Benavidez said, fuck it, I'll just move on up like the Jeffersons. Canelo most recently said he won 150 to 200 million. He said, what has he done? What has Benavidez done? Well, he's a two-time WBC super middleweight champion. Stripped two times. He's a number one contender for the title when Canelo petitioned the WBC to not only allow him to face Callum Smith for its vacant title, but also bypass Benavidez and instead face the god-awful second highest ranked challenger, contender, and former Canelo sparring partner, that is, Avni Yildirim. So yeah, Canelo jumped too. As soon as Benavidez, by his own doing, my man got stripped for liking the smell of cocaine. That's on you, bro. You got stripped. Got the belts back, then you lose the belts on the scale. That's on him. But what's on Canelo is, instead of challenging Benavidez for his titles when he had them, Canelo pounced on those belts the second Benavidez was stripped. Then he compounded it by saying, even though Benavidez was stripped and he's number one, let me fulfill my mandatory against this other guy, my former sparring partner, the god-awful Avni Yildirim. It's exactly what Canelo did. And as the years progressed, he asked, well, who has Benavidez beat? Admittedly, no world beaters. But let's not pretend super middleweight is a world beater division either. I mean, he's beaten Anthony Durrell, Caleb Plant, Demetrius, Boo-Boo, Andrade. Those are credible names. And they're certainly better names than fucking John Ryder, Avni Yildirim, or Rocky Fielding. That's for damn sure. Now, not really sure what the excuse is. Though in response to those saying he's ducking Benavidez, Canelo uttered, they said I was ducking Lara. They said I was ducking Triple G. They said I was ducking the Charlos. There'll always be someone else I'm ducking, which is a fair point. But the difference is the moves Canelo made to repeatedly find something else to do than to share a motherfucking ring with David Benavidez. And the fact, so you're saying, I can make $50 million to fight John Ryder or to fight Jaime Munguia, but you want that $150 to $200 million to fight David Benavidez? So when you ask what has he done, we're asking what has Benavidez done for you to want 3 times the amount of money damn near to fight him instead of these bonds? The fact of the matter is, he's a clear and present threat to Canelo. Canelo can't deny it, which all adds up to duckage. You're ducking him. And again, this is a Benavidez video, but you can't talk about one without the other. Canelo has now linked himself by his own undoing to David Benavidez. And he's now that black cloud, that dark cloud, hanging over not only Canelo's head, but his career. There's no getting around it. To which Benavidez responded, hey, while you're at it, getting that 100, 120, 150 mil, whatever it is, buy you some nuts in the process. And see, I like that. I've said all along, it was going to come to a point he was going to have to shame Canelo into taking this fight. You got to shame him into it. And the sad part for Canelo is 3 years ago, when you should have fought him, you would have beat him. Now Canelo ain't going to beat him. He can't beat Benavidez now because he's let that train get going. It's like Benavidez as a fighter. You better get his ass early because when he warms up, that's your ass. And that's where Canelo is now with David Benavidez. That's his ass. You're past the point of beating him. And he knows it. Enter Alexander Gvozdyk, 20 wins, 1 loss, 16 KOs, former WBC champion. That 1 loss was to Benavidez. He took some time off after that Benavidez loss. And he notched, I believe, 3 victories last year to get him back into the mix. I like the fight for Benavidez. His dad says he's going to fill out very well at the weight class. I'm letting go all hope of Canelo ever doing the right thing and fighting Benavidez. And I love that unlike Triple G, who planted his flag in Canelo's backyard, wouldn't fight no one else worth a damn, would move up to 68 and fight some of the names there like Chunky DeGale. He could have got an easy belt there. Instead, Triple G sat on his ass and fought bums himself instead of heightening his career, instead of puffing up his statistics. He just sat there and waited for Canelo to fight him. So I like that Benavidez isn't just sitting there on his ass, on his hands, waiting for Canelo. He realizes he has a career to get on with. And I love how he's shaming Canelo now because, quite frankly, Canelo deserves it. I've been a Canelo fan for years, but this is fucking disgraceful. The beneficiary is David Benavidez, and hopefully that puts him on his way to being the interim WBC light heavyweight champion and then getting the title shot. Fuck it, let's just go ahead and jump him to the front of the line for a title shot at the winner of Dimitri Bivol, Artur Beterbiev. El Monstro, El Bandera Roja, David Benavidez. REED-BBS, BBS. Blackbird Sugar, Bachelor's in Boxing Studies. Television! Fred Sanford of the Fisticards. When all is said and done, there's nothing left to say or do.